सपना प्यार है सपना सजना ओ सजना मैंने तुझसे प्यार किया मैंने तुझसे प्यार किया तू ही है अब ख्वाबों में मेरे तू ही है अब ख्वाबों में मेरे चाहूं तुझको सांझ सवेरे छोड़ ना देना मुझको सनम छोड़ ना देना मुझको सनम साथ निभाना अपना सजना ओ सजना मैंने तुझसे प्यार किया मैंने तुझसे प्यार किया जीवन भर ये प्यार हमारा जीवन भर ये प्यार हमारा बन के रहेगा अपना सहारा टूट न पाए अब ये कसम टूट न पाए अब ये कसम प्यार न बदले अपना सजना ओ सजना मैंने तुझसे प्यार किया मैंने तुझसे
A very pleasant good evening and welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show on Island Zone Radio. How you guys doing? Glad that you are able to tune in the show tonight. Let me see. I'm trying to get some things going here. Nevertheless, I promised you guys that I'll be back on regularly. And tonight, let me see. I have with me here a special guest who I'm sure she's no stranger to the Ken Rampersaud Show. I want to believe, if I'm right, that this is the third show that she have been on, right? I'm trying to split the screen so that both of us could be on. Got it.
There you go.
All right. So you could hear me, Diane?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I could barely hear you. Let me bring up my my volume a little bit. Let's see. Volume. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in while I try to put up my volume so we could hear her on the computer. Lords, I hate when these things happen, but nevertheless, we will get her on where we all could hear her. Jesus Christ. All right, just bear with me, guys. Just bear with me. And that's why we did a little check just now, but all right. I think I got it now. So talk to me a little bit, Diane.
Hi, Ken. How are you? Is this good?
All right, we are on business now. We are on business. So,
Awesome.
ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special lady tuned in tonight. She's a very special guest for me, and not that only a special guest. I'm tonight because she is someone that I really, really admire. And not admire her as a woman, but as a mother, as someone in our community who is very positive and a great and excellent mother, may I say. She is the co-founder of Ahhaa, and the board president of Harmony for All. She's a speaker and mind fit advocate. And what I admire most about her, too, is that she is a marathon runner. And very seldom you'll find our Guyanese women running, you know what I'm saying? So, Diane, I want to say welcome again after a long time on the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. And I tell you, I got to tell you, I don't tell you often enough how much I admire you, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always awesome being, here with you and talking with you. And I'm so proud of, the work that you're doing and all the people's life that you're impacting. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I want to say a very special hello to your sister, too. I haven't heard from her in a long time
Yeah,
on
Sharon.
Facebook. She's
Yeah,
good?
she's good. Is she on? I'm not sure. I'm sure she'll be on.
All right, let's see. I'm going to look at my comments just now to see who is on tonight. So, Diane, before we get into your conversation, what we'll talk about, I want to know, by the way, I'm proud, very proud of your two children.
Thank you.
It just shows the kind of person that you are. Please tell us a little bit about your kids before we get into you.
Oh,
And we could add the four harmony too.
yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
My kids, Bianca and Joshua, they're amazing children, very humble kids. They are teenagers now.
Right.
Their dad and myself, we've always grown them and instilled values of not only being about themselves, but being
Right.
about others. So as they were growing up, they both enjoyed music and they both became musicians in terms of playing musical instrument, and they excelled themselves. They worked hard, practiced hard. It took them very far. It took them to places like Juilliard Music School, and
Right.
eventually they decided that they were 13 and 14 years old, and they decided we need to help other kids do the same.
Oh wow.
And with so much happening, kids don't have the opportunities, especially here in the United States and in New York City. A lot of cuts that they have, music
Right.
programs and art programs go away, and they wanted to do something. So
Oh, that's
they
nice.
they actually formed their own nonprofit organization by
Oh,
themselves.
really?
They formed it at 13 and 14 years old. They did that, and they wrote to all the elected officials and advocating for students and
Right. Right.
more music in the schools. And they have been thriving. Now my daughter's in college, and my son, he's heading to college in September. So very proud of them. Hardworking kids. Yes.
Good for you. You've been doing a good job. And one thing I want to say too is that Juilliard School, for those of us who may know, it's not just a regular school, right? It's a very prestigious school that the big actors and so on. You may be able to tell us a little bit about that, right?
It's actually it's world renowned, and it's not something easy to get into. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of dedication, and once you're there, the quality of education and the quality of your talent, it just excels from there. So they had to put a lot of work. It didn't come easy to them. They put the work in.
Yeah, and I know as a mom, you are one of the person who you did a lot of work to by driving them around.
Yeah. I believe it or not, my kids, we're in Queens, and they go to school in the city and the Bronx when they start their high schools. And I would get up at 5:30 in the morning, dedicated to taking them, because the bus took 2 hours back and forth, or the train would take 2 hours. So I just, kind of give them that little shoulder to, so they can sleep a little more in the car. They can just be themselves, just so they can
1 second,
be
I'm on. One
sure.
second. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, they can, be fully present and have that little extra energy when they get to school. So
Oh, good, good. Somebody had just called that
mm,
they want to get on the show. So while we are talking, let me see if I could send this to him. And like I said, I want to talk about you a little bit before we get into
Sure.
the thick of things. Also, talk to me a little bit about your marathon running. Like I said, I see you practicing and so on. Tell me more about it.
Yeah. So this is something I tell everyone. When people find out I run marathons, they're like, "Oh my God, I cannot even run a mile." And it's something
Really?
that I encourage them that I thought the same thing, and I feel like everyone, once you start doing it yourself, you feel everyone could do it. And I'll tell you this, Ken. I started running during the pandemic. It was
Really?
late to get out of the house. I've never ran before. Maybe when I was younger, I ran a little here and there, but never did it like as the, active practice. And it was during
Yes.
the pandemic, I decided that, I need to get out of the house and be healthy for my children.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I started running in my driveway back and forth.
Really?
That's where it started.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I started running in my driveway, and then, after a month or so, I thought this is, a little crazy. My neighbors might be thinking that the pandemic is getting to me. So,
Right, right, right.
I just went to the local park and I started practicing using, another platform app that I can actually track my running, and it helped a
Right,
lot.
right.
And I started to set goals for myself. At that time, I saw New York City Marathon had canceled, and then the following year, I saw that everyone was, signing up for the New York City Marathon, and
Right, right.
I was a novice at this, and I decided that okay, if people could do it, I could do it too. Let me sign.
Ri-
So
Absolutely.
first of all, signing up and getting the lottery, it's kind of a blessing by itself because so
Right,
many
right.
people are doing the same thing, and you only have X amount of people that are taken for the marathons. So anyway, I got my first marathon and it felt great. And I said, I'm not gonna do this back again. This was the
Oh,
hardest thing
really?
ever. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But after the pain went away, few days, I was like, I'm ready to do this again.
Right,
So
right.
far, I have done 5 world majors. I've done Chicago. I've ran the London Marathon, the Berlin Marathon, Tokyo Marathon, and in the marathon world, we have these goals to go after the 6 stars, like the Abbott majors, and they're called the 6 stars. Like you get this really nice big medal, and it's a good pat on your back. You've done something special.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
I'm left with Boston for that, but they've been adding a few other majors. So this year I'm going to be running the Sydney Marathon.
Oh wow, good for
Yeah,
you. We are proud of you. I
thank
am
you.
very proud of you. And I'm certainly sure that our Guyanese are proud of you too. But you know what? I think that we need to promote things like this, promote people like you, because you are a source of inspiration, if you know what I mean.
Thank you.
Um, so I want to take this opportunity to say thank you on behalf of all Guyanese for doing this to make us count. Roger, a very good evening to you, Roger. Saying thank you very much, Roger. We are talking to one of our special Guyanese young lady here who flying our flag very high, but very doing it very quietly, and so we have to make some noise around her. Also, Emma Dearborn, a very good evening to you. Thank you very much. Also, so let me ask you, how difficult it is for you to practice for the marathon?
So at the beginning, like anything else in your life, it takes effort. And
Right, right,
but once you start to do it, it becomes part of your life. It is not even like you're practicing. It's I run every day or I run every other day.
oh,
But it's the fact that it's like brushing your teeth. You you're just it's part of your life. You just do it. Um,
right.
it's not easy. You still kind of like, oh, do I have to go and run? But if you don't,
Oh,
the body kind of
especially
like
if it's
tells you,
cold.
huh?
Especially if it's cold.
Especially if it's cold. And for runners, we don't think of it snowing. I mean, when there's a big storm, obviously you don't go out, right? But like if it's cold or raining, you still go out and run. It's that rush
Yes.
that you get inside of you. It's
Oh
an
wow.
identity shift that you have, that
Yes.
you're no longer doing running. You are a runner. You're an athlete at that point. So
Yes. You know, Diane, you probably don't know, but I am older now, but I was a sprinter when I was a young boy growing up.
Wow.
Yes, so I know and I was a champion by running. I
Wow.
got champion by for 4 years at my school.
Wow.
So I know that rush, and I hold that fire in my hand to run around the ground, opening the sport. So,
Wow.
but the only thing
Amazing.
sometimes now my knee hurts, so I don't do the running, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to good night to DJ Fest. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Alan V. Sharma, a very good evening to you. My beautiful sister Neela Pawaru Narayan, upstate New York. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in and you guys are watching. Please share the live because we are speaking to a very proud Guyanese, and I always look at her at the most, give her most respect in our community, despite oftentimes I don't say it. So tonight we will be talking about mind fit. Oftentimes we go to the all of us or most of us go to the doctor for if our head hurt, um, if our hands hurt, if chest pain, whatever is going on, we go to the doctor. But when we are struggling inside, we don't go to the doctor. We don't seek any kind of help. We just stay home and lock up in a room or do whatever it is. So to help us put things into perspective, that like I would say, I will ask Diane to talk about. Let's talk about mind fit. How do we keep the mind fit? And tell us all that you do when
Yeah.
it comes to mind fit.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy, Kenneth, that we're having this talk, and I can bring this to our community. A lot of times, a lot of people, they go to the doctor when it's too late already,
Right.
right? When problems have arisen. And the same thing, like you just mentioned, that we have so many things that's happening internally that we don't seek anyone. And mindfulness itself is exactly what the word is, that
Yeah.
you actually get the mind fit before the problem occur. So let's just look at the mind itself. The mind, we are constantly taking in all the stimulus that's happening, the bad news that's happening in the world, you know, the struggles that we're facing, and everything is on the external, right?
Right. Right.
Everything, when you think about everything that's happening, it's all happening on the external. Our
Right. Right.
financial challenges, our, whether it's a challenge with, your neighbors or the government or whatever is happening. We are
Mhm.
hearing all of these, and it's external. But we are bringing the external internally.
Right. Right.
Internal, when we are born, we're pure. We don't
Right.
have any thoughts or anything like that. But we start to build all of these thoughts and create memories inside of us. And it is the memory that are playing out day by day by day in our lives. So the fact is, a lot of the times we're unconscious of what is happening. So we have a thought and we think that thought is an original thought. And that thought, if we don't become aware of the thought. So the thought could be something like, you know what, as we were talking about running, a lot of people might think, hey, I can't run, right? A simple thought like that. But we never even question that thought to find out, can we actually do it? We already told ourselves we can't.
Right. Right.
Fine. So mind fitness is all about becoming aware of the thought that's happening inside of you. So there's this statistics, Ken, that we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day,
Mm.
right? And
That's a lot.
that's a lot of thoughts. But how many thoughts do you actually remember?
Right.
A lot of them are automatic. It's the memory of how our body is working and all of that. um, but a lot of it, the thoughts that are happening, are thoughts that are unconscious thoughts that are happening from past memory, what happened the day before, and it's all playing silently, and we are acting upon it. So when you say that, when people go out and say, I go to meditate, or I'm going to a retreat and I'm going to find myself, all they're trying to do, is kind of slow those thoughts down and bring it to a single level of thought. But why
Yes.
can we not do that every day in our lives, right? Why can
Right.
we not practice this like running, right? To run a marathon, we need to practice every single day. Similarly,
Right.
if we want to be mind fit, we have to literally practice awareness.
Right.
And awareness itself is just basically finding out what's happening inside of us, asking yourself questions, checking in with yourself, right? How does the environment affect us on a daily basis? How
Mm-hmm.
does the news, when you turn the news on, and you're feeling bad, right? How is that
Mm-hmm.
affecting your mind?
Right.
Right? We are bringing that inside of us. And then all of that is creating the fear, the stress, the tensions in our body, and we're not even aware of that.
Right.
And those stress and tensions in our body, what happen is we, instead of responding to things in our life, we start to react.
Mm-hmm.
We start to make decisions based on that.
Right.
And what kind of decisions do you think we'll make based on external factors that are, putting fear inside of us or making us anxious? Those decisions might be poor decisions in our lives.
Right. I want to ask you something as you were talking just now. I was writing down, taking little notes because I might shift things. But I also want to tell our listeners that Diane, as simple as she is, and she is very simple and humble, she has addressed global leaders, including the Prime Minister of India, and has spoken on renowned stages as such as the United Nations, Columbia University, Harvard Medical School, and Massachusetts General Hospital. So as you can see, she just quiet, but she's doing a lot of big things with she quiet but making a lot of noise very quietly. You know, and like I said, initially me and you we want to talk about things and have a good conversation, like a gaffing conversation.
Yeah.
As you were talking, as you said that we were having a lot of thousands of thoughts. We have from walking around every day, I see so many negative people around me, and I wonder sometimes what their life is like about. Diane, how do we as human beings, in a world that's so negative, how do we keep things in order, keep things positive, so that we can live a positive life? Shed some light to me,
Yeah.
to our viewers.
Thing is, Kenneth, when we look at people in a negative environment, right, or they're negative, I think the biggest thing that we do is become non-judgmental, because we
Right.
don't know what they're going through
Mm-hmm.
and what unconscious habits and behaviors and unconscious thoughts are going on in their mind, because they're not aware of what they're doing.
Right. Right.
So instead of making them the source of our unhappiness, we need to let it go.
Mm.
We need to understand, or remind ourselves that the external is not controlling us. Who's in control here? Who do we want to be in control here? Do
Mm-hmm.
we want people that we don't even know control our lives?
Right.
Do we want something that we read in the newspaper or read on the internet or scrolling through the internet control our life? A glimpse of like a few seconds, right? Is that going to define who we are as a human
Right.
being?
Right.
you know and it starts with your intention. How do we
Mm-hmm.
become positive? What do you want out of your life? For all of our viewers and all of your viewers, you have to really ask yourself the question: what do you want? What do you expect out of your life? What is it that you want to show up as today in your life? And if you want to feel good, if you want to be happy, if you want to be positive, then you would not take on the negative things.
Mm-hmm.
Let that go. You would
Right.
give up on happiness, right? And it takes a lot of practice, Ken. I'm telling you, like, it's simply, but
Right.
it's not something that you hear it and it's not motivation. I'm not here to motivate you or the
Mm-hmm.
audience. I'm not here to say that this is simple. This is the hardest thing ever,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to start someplace, and that
Right.
place is your intention.
Correct.
The intention of what you want. What do you want for your family? How do you want to show up for your family?
Right.
How do you want to feel about yourself? What do you want to tell yourself about yourself? That's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about you and not the other.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And so, like I always say, Diane, and I like to put things down too so people understand. Not every garbage that you see pass around or pass at your door that you will pick them up. You have to let them go. And that's a great thing. Also, let me say hello to Miss Samantha Chow. It was nice seeing you, darling, the other night. Joni Mahabir, a very good evening to you. The beautiful Miss Usha Devi Azimola. Well, thank you very much for coming back, my dear. I miss you. It's good to see you. And my sister Anita Ishdaulat Ram is watching all the way from Canada. So I'm happy to have all of you. Now, before I forget, I also want to give you some credit and talk a little bit about Good Night Fest. I know that you are the co-founder of Ahhaa. And if you can tell us, not a little bit, but what do you do with Ahhaa? You are the co-founder. How all this started?
Yeah,
And what do you guys do? I know that Ashwin and you came on the show together and you guys are doing a great job with this. But for our listeners, talk to me about it.
sure. So for those who don't know, we founded this company, Ahhaa, many years ago. Ashwin was a former monk for 19 years. He has helped many people from all parts of the world for, probably travel 45 countries or probably it's a lot more now. And, from a person as Michael Jackson or so many celebrities that he's helped, and to a farmer, right? And it came to the point that what he was doing and what I was doing in my own life,
Right,
it all came together that we just wanted to impact the world and help people.
right,
And
right,
with technology on the rise at the time that we started, we wanted technology to be the medium to spread it. So Ahhaa is basically a platform, the same way you would have physical fitness is fitness for the mind, where you
right.
go there. It's an app, it's a platform. We work with a lot of companies all over the world. We have a lot of CEOs, a lot of people that we work with.
Mm-hmm,
But our app is all about helping people to become mind fit.
mm-hmm.
So every single thing that you're doing in a day, we are doing so many things. Whether we're on the show right now, where is our mind right now? A lot of us are thinking, I'm listening to this, but the mind is going in many directions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going here, it's going there, and that's what takes us into a path of stress. And this is not only on the show. I'm talking about, like, our daily chores that we do, right? It could be doing our laundry, it could be, balancing our book, it could be being the CEO of a company, whatever it is. When the mind is all over the place and the mind is not streamlined and the mind is not conscious of the action, right? It starts to create stories. It
Mm-hmm.
starts to create unconscious stories that puts a toll on you itself. So the platform is there to help you to track your everyday tasks that you're doing and become
Mm-hmm.
mindful. Same way you would track your calories.
Right, right,
It can help you to track your mind, where it is, track your work, and also give you a lot of stats that you can see at the end of the day. uh, you know, I've done 1,000 minutes mindfully, let's say, uh, focusing on my work.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you press that start button, when you press
Right,
something, you become intention of it, right? Intention.
right, right.
And we're all about helping people become intentional.
That's right. That's right. Roger Singh says one way I try to stay in the right mindset is staying spiritual and close to my religion and reading the good book daily. That's a good start, right?
That's a great start.
That's a good start.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
And then Samantha Chow had she asked, "How do you say that to a depressed person or abusive person?" I know. How would you address that
Yeah,
if you can?
absolutely. Uh, Samantha, the fact is that I mean, it is hard when you are in a situation in your life, right? When you're in an abusive relationship, when you have been in an abusive relationship for years and years and years of your life, right? It's hard to become positive. It's hard to say,
Mm.
I'm going to be mind fit. I'm going to practice awareness. I'm going to meditate. All those things are really, really, it's so difficult.
Yes,
But
yes.
you have to know, or that person have to know that their life is so much more precious than staying where they're at. And if you
Right, right,
truly believe that your life is so precious, then you would find the courage, you would find the way to become intentional to say no more, right? It starts with that no more. That
right,
I'm
right.
not going to take this anymore. What is this? How, what is this depression? What is happening? Why am I depressed? It's all about facing yourself and asking the right questions to yourself. And sometimes just by asking the questions, Kenneth, that we start to see the mind open up and we
Right,
start to
right.
see the stories. And then we ask ourselves, are those stories that we're telling ourselves, is it true?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, it's just a story. A lot of the time, maybe it's a story from the past that came up back that, someone said something to us, and going back to the unconscious mind, it is there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we live our lives thinking that we are not good enough. We
Mm.
are not the best fit for this. We accept the relationship we're in because we think that's all we can have in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And fear, what is fear? And moving away, it's a fear, right? But what is fear? Fear is something that didn't even happen yet.
Right, right.
It's a monster that we constantly are creating within ourselves. And I'm not blaming that we're doing it. It's the mind. We're not doing it. It's the
Mm-hmm.
mind that it's just like, it kind of by being unaware, you're just constantly adding layers and layers and layers and layers to it. That's why awareness is the only way, that we can actually help ourselves. And I'll tell you, Ken, the fact is that we need to sit with ourselves more. A lot of us are not sitting with ourselves. A lot of us are so afraid to sit and just spend 5 minutes.
Oh,
Spend 5 minutes and truly embrace who you are inside of you.
all right. I
Those
like that.
stories that you're telling yourself. And when you start to see it, eventually, you know, you're gonna start clearing your path. It's like
Absolutely.
having a garden, a beautiful garden. You're the beautiful garden, but
Right.
there's so much weed. And
Uh-huh.
like, oh my God, do I have to go and get rid of that weed? And all you're seeing is weed. So right now, a lot of
Yes.
people, they're just seeing themselves as weed.
Yes.
Don't see that if they clear the weed, that it's a beautiful garden and they have the opportunity to actually plant more seeds
Right.
and grow something more beautiful.
Mm-hmm. The truth is, you got to keep those weeds out, or else they will take over the beauty of the garden.
Yeah. And
And
yeah,
go ahead. No,
no.
go ahead. You go ahead.
And the thing is that a lot of people, like, we know that life is precious and we're going to die once, but many
Yes.
people are dying every day,
Right.
right? Because we are literally killing ourselves with all of these bombarded, situations, and we are not living life to the fullest.
Yes.
And we truly need to start embracing ourselves and live life.
Yes. You know, Diane, what I was going to say, mindfulness, as it's such a great thing to know and to do. And that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Live the now.
Yeah.
And the bad things the bad thoughts just come in to hold us back in our life. You know, I want to say, let me say good night to Mr. I like to big up my people who's watching because
Oh,
without my viewers, they are nobody. So, Mr. David Singh, a very good evening to you and thanks for your love and support. And he says, who are locked into Island Zone Radio to this inspirational program? Yes. And for those of you who don't know and you just tune in, I'm speaking to the beautiful Miss Diane Bacchus. Like I've said before, she is such a great Guyanese. But one of the things that I notice with her, and I lose track of her sometimes, and there are things that I was supposed to do for her too as I'm sitting down here and I'm thinking, but the good thing is I have time to do what I got to do. But she is a global voice on consciousness. She also speak to presidents. She speak at Columbia University, Harvard University. So she is just doing her things quietly. And so this is who we are talking to tonight. I hope that moving forward that we could really bring Diane back as she's talking. I'm saying, God, what can we bring back Diane to talk about? Anyway, we'll talk about that later on. Diane, one of the things that I'm happy about that I have learned, and you have said, and we are going off topic by the way, but you have said that, that one of the things that I have realized in life is that we are just passing through in this world.
Yeah.
And the story is that we are not going to be here forever. And there's a lot of things that we are fighting for that doesn't make sense and just stealing our joy. And I think that the day that we realize that this life is just a passing through, life will take a different meaning to that. Or let's say that if you get sick, and a lot of people, they wait until they get sick before they change to become that good person. But I want to say you and I, we're in a good space. We realize what life is about. Talk to me more about that. What
Yeah.
I just about death.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we all know it, but for some reason, it does not register in a lot of us, right? We go to funerals, we see people dying every day, we hear people dying every day, we know people, dying,
Right,
our close relatives, family, and we know that we're not here forever.
right.
Yet we act.
One of the oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
thought you finished.
So
Go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna say that, but we act like we are gonna be here forever. It's not that, again, going back. It's not us. It's the way our minds are, are are created. The fact is that the mind thinks impermanent, right? Nothing is permanent.
Correct.
Life is not permanent, so as a thought is not permanent, Kenneth, right?
Right,
So as our
right.
situation in life is not permanent. Think about all the times that you had a situation, and even for the viewers, right? Think about a time in your life that you feel, oh my God, that's it. This is permanent. I can't get
Yes,
out of it.
yes,
Now reflect back. Didn't you get out of it? When you
yes.
thought it was so, so bad, right? Something would have had to give way in the mind to get out of it. So
Hmm.
the fact is that nothing is permanent, and when you know nothing is permanent, then you truly embrace life in the now, and
That's right.
embrace life. And when, again, going back, a lot of misconception of the now. It's like, well, we have to live for the now. How do we live for the now? We have bills to pay. We have things to do.
Right, right,
But
right.
the fact is, it's not that you're ignoring life itself. Life is
Yes,
happening, but you can't be here and there at the same time. So
correct.
you're saying that you're living for the now. If you put your attention, if you put your focus, if you put your love and intention into what you're doing, and you train your mind that, you know what, when my mind goes away from that, I'm going to bring it back into it, right? When you're taught,
Right, right.
when your thought goes
Hmm.
away, you bring it back. When your thought goes away, you bring it back. When you start to do enough times of that, then you start to see and you start to live in a better space, in a better mind space. And when you live in a better mind space, Ken, the fact is that's where creation start happening. That's when beauty start happening. That's when you start to see things clear. That's when you make
Right,
better decisions. That's when you fall in love with your family. That's when you fall in love with yourself even more.
right, right. I like that piece too. And the first thing that you have to do, I think that when you look in the mirror, like when I look in the mirror, although I'm not that great looking, I was like, wait, I like that guy who I see there.
Yeah,
Ken is a good guy. And you know what? It doesn't have to be physical. What I find that, like I say sometimes, wow, I like who I see in the mirror. He does a lot of things for people, if you know what I mean. And it's important.
absolutely. And I tell people, you have to advocate for yourself. You cannot. You cannot wait for your husband or your wife or someone else to appreciate you if you don't appreciate yourself.
Right, right,
Right?
right.
I mean, if you can't appreciate you, then how could you expect someone else to do that?
Yes,
We are given
definitely.
control constantly of relationships, of people. That's why we stay into these relationships. That's why we stay into things that are not, conducive to who we are. Because
Yes,
we
yes.
expect that person to do something for us when they are not there to do anything for us. We are there to be everything we are to this world right now for ourselves. And as we are becoming everything else is coming together.
That's right. I want to say good night to Bibi Sabrina Hussein and family of Norway. A very good evening to you if you guys are watching. Um, Paul, let me see. Paul Andrew Mohabir says, "Hello. Sorry for being present late on the platform. I'm engaged to be here to see what you guys have here to deliver. Thanks in advance." Well, thank you very much for tuning in. And David Singh said, "Yes, we have to love ourselves first." And as we are talking, Diane, I know that you on Facebook too. Um, and there's so many people that I see looking for validation from other people.
Yes.
A lot of people saying that, oh, don't you think I look good, or how you think I look, whatever it is. And you are the queen here tonight, and if you can enlighten things, but I just chime in a little bit. But I think that when you're looking for validation from people, it could be disappointing. What do you think?
Absolutely. The fact is that, it is nice to want to feel, validated by others, but it should not be something that is going to take away your peace, right?
Right.
Are you looking for validation as a fact that, you know, that's the only mean to how you're going to feel? Or are you feeling good about yourself already? And you're just, hey, what do you think? Right? The fact is that you need to feel good about yourself. And when you feel good
Absolutely.
about yourself, whether somebody say, you look good or you don't look good, that should not affect you
Right. It's
because
what you tell yourself.
it is your foundation. You have to have that foundation. And again, it goes back to your intention. What do you want out of life? And I'm going to keep saying this you know, keep on saying this throughout the show. Awareness, intention. These are
Yes.
see, these are all habits that we've practiced in our life. So going back to everything that we do, Ken, it's habits. You know,
Right, right.
going into stress or sadness or all of that. These are habits that we've practiced so much in our lives that we feel like, okay, we're just a sad person, we're just a depressed person, we're just a stressed person. But if you sit
Right,
yourself and ask yourself, what does it actually mean that I'm a sad person? Where did that
right,
sadness come
right.
from? I mean, if we say that we are brought here to this universe, right? And there's a creator, we believe there's a creator. I would love to believe that our creator has made us into something special, brought us here to do
Yeah.
something special, right? And the fact is that where did the sadness came from? When did the sadness arrive? How did it arrive? Who brought it in? Did someone
Right, right.
give you a bag of sadness? Or is this something that you picked up and you practice it? So the same way, if you could practice sadness, you could practice happiness too,
Right, right.
right? You could let go of
Correct.
that sadness and practice happiness. So it's all about behaviors that we've developed over and over unconsciously. Again, I'm not blaming anyone because I've done the
Yes.
same thing. Trust me, the Diane that you're seeing today is the Diane that put a lot of work in herself.
Right.
For
Absolutely. Me
years, right?
too.
It didn't happen,
Yes.
right? I
Right,
read
right.
the books, I went to the seminars, I listened to the people, I put myself in a mind space that I am not gonna, let external factors bother me.
Right, right.
When there are people that talking and gossiping and all the things, I don't let that in. And my loved ones, the closest people to my life, they know that if they're bringing a negative information, I'm not gonna let it in.
Oh, wow.
So they
Good
don't
for you.
even bring it. And this is could be my siblings, could be anyone, right? So you have to have a standard for yourself.
Right.
And if you don't have a standard, if you're not setting your standard for your life, somebody else is going to set the standard.
Hmm.
And someone else is going to be controlling that. So you have to have.
Absolutely. We want to say good night to Auntie Iris Goberdan, all the way from Hague Bagdam in Guyana. Samantha Chow says, don't expect anything from anyone. Absolutely. Be proud of yourself. And Mr. Powell said, but you think let me see, but you think a second opinion is worth it, or a consultation depends on the circumstances. The screen is moving quickly. So um, he says a person must have a vision to life. Absolutely. And Diane, I think that sometimes a positive reinforcement or a second opinion is always good. What's your take? As long as positive.
Absolutely. I mean, again, if you're looking for someone else's opinion, right? And if that positive opinion does not suit you, or if they said it in a way, or if it didn't come out the right way, it doesn't matter what it is. You
Right,
have
right.
to have your foundation, Ken. um,
Yes.
we have to start really taking care of us without expecting anything. I think one of your viewers mentioned that, right? Expectations, right? I mean, we have this inside of us where we expect our spouse to be this way, you know, society to be this way, our community to be this way. But they all are having their own mind space, and we don't know what mind space they're in, right? So we need to take care of ours. We need to literally, everything that we want someone else to say, let's say to ourselves.
Right,
Everything you can think about, can you imagine anything you want? Every positive reinforcement that you want someone to tell you,
right, right.
be there for you. Put that in a box and start telling yourself. Open that box every day and say, oh, okay, I wanted Kenneth to tell me this. I wanted, my brother to say that to me. I want my spouse to say this to me. And you start telling yourself that.
Right.
It'll change the way you think
That's
about
correct. You can do, and people could do it. Um, I see Powell is asking what we major in. So, Powell, I got to tell you that Diane Bacchus, she's a co-founder of Ahhaa. She's the board president of Harmony for All with her kids. They're doing fantastic. They're doing a fantastic job representing us here in New York. Also, she's a world major marathon runner. She also addressed the Prime Minister of India, people at the Columbia University. I'm not sure if you know about Columbia University, um, and Harvard University, which is very. These universities are what? How do I put it? There was a word for them. Oh, they are Ivy League universities. Um, and as the host for this show, I got to tell you that the Ken Rampersaud Show came about because, I'm a nurse for over 30 years. I have about 20 something years in addiction nursing and mental health nurse. So I've been around, especially where addiction is concerned. I've witnessed a lot of trauma. A lot of patients have shared their stories with me. And by the way, I have a book coming out, I hope soon, where we get to talk about all these things about trauma and so on. So, and I tried to select people who I could bring, people like Diane, who could really share stories and give their insight of things that our community needs on Island Zone Radio. One of the things that I am disappointed in, though, but I am at ease of it, is that our community love negativity, and I want to move away from that kind of a thing. Where, as you see, when people curse each other, put down each other, pull down each other, you will have thousands of people watching our Guyanese community. But if you have a show that's bringing something that's interesting, that's important, how you could build your own life, we struggle to get people to watch. But thank you, all of you, for tuning in on the Ken Rampersaud Show. And like I said, I'll be on every Monday night. Let me see, Suresh Sugram says, anything that is toxic, let it go. You owe no one anything. Life is about the choices you make. Absolutely. Mindset is the biggest enemy. So, and Suresh Sugrim, I don't know if you guys know him. He has done a lot to in our community where um, he helped a lot of people in Guyana. He's the guy who he don't like to get, he like you, Diane, he don't like to get kudos, but I like to give kudos. He is the guy behind the humanitarian mission in Ghana, where he is making a big difference in the lives of so many women. He's teaching them to sew, to make cake, and to do so many things. So one of the things that I want people to understand is to, and that goes for sorry Sugrum too, is to know your worth. And I had a conversation with someone today who is someone that's powerful. The truth is they are powerful. And if you can see your worth, it's not it's sad, but I want you to see how powerful you are and what you bring to society. Because if you're giving a bag of rice and you're not seeing that, it's kind of sad. So, all my viewers, I want you to know your worth in life. Know what you bring to the table, especially if you bring positivity. Like I've met so many people who have been like 86, 60 years old and have not bring anything to the table, just living every day of their life. They don't own a penny, they cannot afford to buy a cup of coffee. So know that you're blessed. If you have a job, you have a family, know your worth. Anyhow, let's continue. We could talk all night, myself and Diane. You know, many people go through life carrying pressure and emotional weight quietly. They don't want to talk about things. What are some of the signs that someone may need to pause and pay close attention to their inner world?
Yeah. You know, loneliness, people who are, you know, who shut out from the rest. Uh, it could be any and everyone can. It's not just the fact that, there's a certain amount of people. I think we all, as humanity, need to take a pause.
Right, right.
All of us. All of us experience challenges day in, day out, right? Um, a mother, a woman, a father. Everyone is, you could be a farmer, the CEO, every and any person, a child. Today, children are experiencing so much, right? Um, you could be anyone. We all need to take a pause to practice spending that 5 minutes with ourselves when we get up in the morning. Instead of all of us, we rush out of our bed or we don't get up, right? We don't want to get up from the bed. There's a lot of people that don't want to get up from the bed.
Yes,
They're just
yes.
there and they're just, they don't want to face the world. They don't want to feel what's happening. And really going back and what you just said, and I'm, a big believer of that self-worth, knowing your self-worth,
Yeah.
that there's more to life than what's happening right now, than what you're feeling right now, than what's, might be the circumstances in your life. You know, know that there's more to that. That more is not external. That more is the feelings that you can bring to your life at any moment's time by just, just a mindset and a mind shift that you can feel good or bad at any moment's time just by thought. If I tell your audience, think of something that, it was terrible in your life, you could think about it quickly. And then how would it make you feel? When you're thinking of something terrible in your life, think about a terrible news.
Mm-hmm.
How does it make you feel? It doesn't make you feel great. But can it think of something beautiful?
Yes.
Think of something amazing. Think of someone that you're grateful for in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Of your children. Think of something that brings you joy. How do you feel?
Right, right.
So who is in control? Who is doing it to you? Who's doing that feelings to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's you. And awareness is where the thought is. Because a lot of the times we don't know why we're feeling the way we're feeling because we're letting all these thoughts in. But we want to let the good thoughts in. We want to replace the negative thoughts, the bad thoughts, the thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bad or good. The fact is that the thoughts that are not making us feel amazing about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You have to check in. You check in with yourself when you know that you're not feeling great, right? Check in with yourself. Check in with your friends when they're not feeling great and see where they're at.
Yes, yes.
You know, yeah.
Let me say good night to Miss Nalini Naidu. I'm sorry, I saw your name earlier, but the screen is moving. Let me read Miss Powell Andrew said, you need to have the younger generation get more involved in the community. For example, workshops and different activities that can be beneficial to them. Absolutely. Um, and the truth of the matter is, I'm trying to there's a word what I'm saying to bring back the show where it was at before, to be more mindful of the discussions that we have, to make the show more meaningful and forget about the viewers, what they like or what they don't like, but to bring meaningful discussions. And you're welcome, Suresh. And Samantha says situations like divorce. We are going there. That's my next set of questions for her. So, from experience, what are some of the biggest inner struggles people are navigating in today? Fast paced. And I see Samantha Chow started saying things like divorce, abuse, drug, homelessness. And because she talked all about that, I will chime in after you give your talk.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's so many challenges that we're facing, right? Self-doubt is the biggest one. We're always doubting ourselves, right? Um, the challenges of what's happened, the shift in the economy, all the wars that are happening, right? These are all external factors that we're bringing internally. And then we're asking the question, well, what's going to happen, right? Conflict that we're creating within ourselves, the inner conflict, the inner voice that's saying, you know, what if this happens? What will happen? Most of the time we're always in what if, what if, what if. And I think that's the biggest conflict that a lot of us, why we don't get out of our bed, is the fact that, you know, what if my kids, something happened to them? What if, my finances are at a loss? What if I get a divorce? What if, right? What if I lost everything that I worked for? And I have. So all these what if create a lot of struggle, a lot of tension, and a lot of anxiety in our lives. And those anxiety are showing up as, you know, a lot of diseases. A
Mhm.
lot of our stress create diseases in our life, Kenneth.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know that best, high blood pressure and all these other things, right? Being a nurse.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, and the stress. I meant to say hello to Minshri Sandra Rampersad earlier, and I'm glad she made a comment just now. So, one of the things I want people to know who's watching this show is that I really appreciate everyone that takes the time to sit down and watch this show. I really appreciate it, and it matters. I go ahead and I read all your comments, and I try to like all the comments that you guys make, and if possible, I can respond to you guys. You know, Also, when someone feel overwhelmed by life, where can they begin to regain the clarity and balance? Think about your answer. But because I say I want to talk about, and I want to chime in with you, and that's why I host this show. Um, we talk about homelessness, we talk about addiction and mental illness and so on, divorce. You know, Homelessness, and these are really big things to tackle, and it's tough. No one wants to be homeless, but I have spent so many years, over 20 years, dealing with people who are homeless and have nowhere to go or don't know where their next where they're going to sleep next or where their next meal is going to come from. But I also want to say that, and let's talk about addiction a little bit too, is that I have seen generations of people who have done drugs from auntie, uncle, mother, father, brother, sister, grandchildren. And for the past 30 years, I've seen the generation keep making bad decisions. And I know that you spoke about this earlier. We have to make decisions that's really empowering us and to make us better person. The truth of the matter is that I have seen the worst of addiction, and I hope that people can see what addiction has done for their family and they would say no to drugs and no to alcohol. I've drove many days and saw how much people lying on the street, sleeping on the bare concrete. And one of the things you said, Diane, and I didn't, I meant to mention, and a great thing you said, we must be grateful. We must be grateful for the blessings that we have get in our life, whether it's little, small blessing or big blessings. It matters. It makes us feel good too. So gratitude and blessing is two big part of my life. When I wake up in the morning, I am thankful. I say, God, thank you for life and to show gratitude in all that I do. And it really matters. You know what I'm saying? Roger, there is a lot of drama with Emblem Health. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. A lot of people, paperwork, and nothing is free. Absolutely. Sometimes it is not what you say, is how you say it, and makes me feel when I leave. Absolutely. Roger Singh says there is a lot of free resources that are available in the community where we live and serve. Emblem Health has free access citywide to address mental health issue to all members and non-members. So that's a great thing to do. Um, so I want to tell people, yes, there is a lot of resources, and the truth of the matter is that a lot of people don't really access these things, right? So as we're talking, Diane, where can people really get some access to these information? And for example, like you can talk about your place, how they could get information.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, today's day and age with the internet, instead of actually, going to all the negative reels and the reels that are, creating more anxiety to us, I think we can start to change the algorithm for ourselves. We can start looking
Right,
at the more positive videos. That's a start, right? Even
right.
before I'm taking you to my place, I'm just showing you that access today is, you know, in our fingertip. It has
Yeah.
never been so abundant than it is today. Access to anything we want. It's
Yes,
a
yes.
choice we have to make. What do we want? Right? Everything is a choice. And if we
Mm.
choose, to feel better, to do better for our lives, to set better standards, it starts there by choice. So once you have that choice, start looking at everything positive. Picking up books, start reading, start finding out about yourself. How does your mind work? Why do I
Yes.
feel the way I feel? We have our platform. You're all welcome to, come there. It's ahhaa.com, AHHAA.com. You can download our app on the App Store, and you can start to become more mindful. You can start to practice awareness. You can start to become intentional with your everyday task and create a better habit. Going back to uh, alcoholism or addictions, it didn't happen overnight. It's a habit that got created, right?
Right, right. That
First
definitely.
drink, the second drink, and it started
Hmm.
to create a pleasure inside of us, right? A feeling inside of us, and it became an addiction. The same way we can become conscious. Is that addiction? Is that alcohol serving the purpose in my life? What do I want in my life? See, if you don't know what you want, you'll never know how to get there. It's
Absolutely.
so it's like a GPS, right? It starts with knowing. It starts with saying, I want, this alcohol is damaging my family. I want a better family life. I want to fix
Absolutely.
my marriage. When
Hmm.
that becomes the bigger part of you, then you will make the right choices. You will make choices. And I'm sure you've heard stories also of people who
Oh
have
gosh, yes.
turkey, cold turkey quit, right? Things that they've been addicted for years
Hmm.
because the pain of losing their family, that pain is bigger than the pleasure of the alcohol or the pleasure of the smoking or the drugs or whatever it was, right? But yeah,
Yes.
before you go down that road, I think your intention, what is it that you truly want in life? Design your life. You're the captain. You're your own captain. Design what you want.
Absolutely.
Sail where you want to go. You're your painter.
Yes. All you need is that paintbrush and just paint a
Paint it.
picture, beautiful picture of yourself.
Yeah.
Um, Azimola Usha, thank you very much for staying on. She said, I never drink in my life. I'm glad you say that about alcoholism. Because today, in my mind, I was saying to myself, you know what? So many people think that alcohol and drugs will, will ease their problem, or that's the solution for the problem.
Yeah.
But over the 30 years I've been in addiction, I have learned that that's just a band-aid for the problem.
Yeah.
I think that we need to move away from that. And I'm not saying that people should not drink. People could drink,
Socially,
but
yeah.
drink in moderation. And thing like alcohol is one of the things that I found out is that when you drink, it's like a temptation to drink again, and then later on, is that you cannot control the addiction.
Mhm.
Your body get accustomed to the alcohol, and that's what you want. So, and then beating alcoholism is not an easy thing, or drug abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And like I said, you have to be mindful. Diane, how can we deal with all of this negativity that's going on in our life? How do we live every day? And I could, I could. Let me start while I give you time to think. I, a couple of weeks ago, I went through something too. Or every so often, you and I, we would go through our thing like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I felt so disappointed in a certain situation. But then I took a deep breath and I stopped and I says, wait. I waited so many years for this. I can wait another month, or I could wait another 2 months. So I am always looking for the positive on things. You know what I mean? Like some people complain of um, their foot is paining them, but there is someone who doesn't have one foot. So I try to look at these kind of theories sometimes. So you take it away.
Yeah. Something I used to teach my kids when they were little, that, I used to use the light switch as a symbol for them. That, whenever they come and they're emotional, or they're, angry, or whatever it is that was bothering them at the moment, right? I would take them through the process of that, here's a light switch. You have light when you turn it on, and it's dark when you turn it off, right? And I
Yes,
do the switch with them, and I said, that's like your emotion. Who's in
right,
control of the light switch?
right,
Right? You're in control of that light switch. So the negativity that's happening, who's in control of, turning on that negativity? Who's in control of letting it go? We cannot. We cannot control what's happening on the outside, right? I cannot control
right,
what someone is to say to me. I cannot control what the news is gonna be, right? I'm supposed to travel to India on Monday, and uh, you know, there's so many, with the war and everything that's happening, you have to fly over to a different zone. But I don't even think about that. In my mind,
right, right,
I just need to get to
right.
if something to happen in life, it will happen anyway, right?
Yes,
But why would I
yes,
take away, and why would I put that pressure on myself? Mental
right, right,
pressure on myself for no reason. Nothing happened yet. I'm going to address a big company, and do a lot of amazing work there, and that's beautiful by itself, right?
right, right,
And a lot of us, we go through the process of, you know, oh, what if this happened? Going back to the what if, and who's bringing
right, right,
this to ourselves? So I think, Kenneth, to be honest, the biggest thing that we all need to do is take care of our own lives. Stop
wow,
and
yes,
take care of our own lives. We are trying to take care of everybody else's life, but
hmm,
not ourselves. When you're in the airplane, and when you're in the you've seen this, if you haven't seen it live, but you've seen it somewhere, that they say that, if there's a problem with the plane and the oxygen mask comes down, you got to put it on
right,
first.
force,
Before
right, right,
anything else. So if you don't take care of this mind space, if you don't know what you want in life, if these are the things that you have, these simple things, but that's where you start. Everybody else, everything else, when you know what you want, you will not let negativity take over you. You will not,
Yes.
when the news is too much, you'll turn it off. I'm like, no, this is not me. How is that helping you? How is it helping you when you're feeling bad? When you're listening to, not that you're not conscious, don't get me wrong, that you're not conscious of what is happening. I was in Haiti in 2010 when the earthquake happened. After the earthquake, I went, and we took, at that time we had pharmacies, and I went with a bunch of doctors, and we were helping, the country at the time.
Right.
And the fact is that, there was so much pain. There were so many things that
Oh,
were
wow.
happening there, right? And when you see a earthquake-stricken country, and you're there 3 weeks later, and you see, what's going on, you realize that all you can do is help them. You cannot internalize it, and it's
Right.
true pain.
True.
But if you are not, in a good space, you cannot help them.
Correct.
If
True.
you're
True.
not helping yourself and you're not thinking right, you cannot help your family, you cannot help the people outside, you cannot help your community. So when you actually can take care of, when you live in a beautiful state of mind, and when you're in that beautiful state of mind, then your mind will start to create solutions. It will start to, bring things that you've never even know, and you'll start to do things for yourself and your family that you couldn't even believe that you'd be able to do.
Yes. Absolutely. I see Samantha Chow wrote, but how do you say that to a person, depressed person,
Yeah.
with their brain chemistry being off too?
Yeah.
So I want to take that, but I don't know if you would want to say anything, but you
Yeah.
you want to take it, or
I'll,
I could take
I'll
it
just
too.
say a little on it. I mean, Samantha, I totally understand, and definitely you should work with your doctors and your therapists and whoever it is when they're going through that. They definitely should, work with the doctors and their therapists, and getting all the help that they can. And you're right. All these trigger, it's triggering chemicals in our body, and the chemicals are going off. But my message is also, start to appreciate life itself, as that is happening, small things to appreciate life.
Yes. And what I want to add to for Samantha is that if you have where like depression and so on, and your the what's going on in your head, then I think the best thing to do is to speak to a doctor and let them probably put the patient on medication for some time. If it's depression, they could give them therapy, and they could put them on medication too. And the truth of the matter is that that doesn't have to be a permanent thing. So one thing that I've learned though is that, as you said, and we preach in that, is how do we look at ourselves? Many of us have went through some form of, I don't want to say many of us, but I've seen a lot of people experience different form of traumas at different area, whereas rape, whereas molestation, you know the different kind of trauma, abuse. But sometimes it's how do we really look at these things. And the bad part is when it happen to children and they're young and they don't know how to process these things. But as big people, not big people, as adults, we have to find a way how we can manage these things, because if we allow these things to consume us, then the truth of the matter is the boat will allow the boat to just drift away from us, and that's something that we don't really want to. And I encourage everyone, and I know what some of the Chow is talking about, and I always encourage people, if you find that you are feeling depressed over 2 weeks, and we all do get depressed now and again, don't get me wrong. But if you see that someone is getting depressed for over 2 weeks, I think that's the right time to go and start seeing your medical doctor. And if they can handle the situation, then they could put you onto a psychiatrist to help you with whatever it is. So that's that for that. I think that's part of what we got to talk about. And so we got to say, what are the three simple daily practice people can bring into their routine to build a stronger and more aware mindset? And we could talk what you do if you wanted to go that route.
Yes,
How do we do that?
absolutely. One of the things that I do a lot of, Kenneth, and again, it's a lot of practice, but as you practice anything, you become better and better at it. I'm still not a
Right.
master at it because there's so much more to it. But let's just start in 5 minutes. Like I shared this already. When you wake up in the morning, right? The first thing you wake up in the morning, before you head for your phone or before you think about anything, right? This is the beautiful time where you can just sit, become intentional. What do I want out of my life? What do I want for today? How do I want
Yes.
my day to go? Use your breath as an anchor. When you
Mm-hmm.
feel in, when you ask yourself that question, sometimes you can also tighten up because sometimes, we go back into that place. Well, I want that, but do I deserve it? You know, do I deserve
Yep.
to be happy today? Do I deserve, the life that I want? And when you start to tighten up, start to breathe. A lot of us, you would know this better, Ken. The fact is, a lot of us, we're breathing, but we're truly not breathing. We're shallow breathing,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Do some breath from your diaphragm. When you're
Right.
breathing, your stomach going out, and when you're, exhaling, you make your stomach coming in back, and that's a nice diaphragmatic breathing practice that you can do. The other thing
Mm-hmm.
is gratitude. We talk about it a bit, right? But you can't
Yep.
be grateful and worried at the same time. You can't
Right.
be
Right.
grateful and fearful at the same time. So the more gratitude you can bring, it could be small things you could be grateful. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning, and just meditate on that. Just spend some time with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then before you go to bed, don't just go fall off to sleep. Don't scroll on your phone. Put it
Mm-hmm.
aside and do the same thing. Reflect on your day and ask yourself, can I find a few things in my day that I really enjoyed? Or,
Right.
what is it in my day that I enjoyed, and what could I do better with my day tomorrow? Right?
Right.
Have a reflection for yourself. Another thing you can do is in between your day, go for a walk. You don't have to run. Get up. Movement helps a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, you can always, we have our app. You can start measuring all these things for yourself. You can just
Mm-hmm.
go record your activity that you're doing, become intentional. And again, bring your mind to, instead of that chatterbox in the mind constantly, start to narrow that chatterbox down and start to bring it from 80,000 thoughts slowly, 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 slowly. And you're going to start to see how you're going to feel. You're going to be
Yep.
like a weight off your shoulder. And that weight off your shoulder, then you can start to see life clear. And you're going to be able to, from that place, make beautiful decisions of your life.
Absolutely. One of the thing I like to do in the morning when I wake up, and I had a bad habit initially, and I'm going to say it. I would grab my phone.
Yeah.
That's the first
Well,
thing I used to do. And so I said, this is nonsense. So what I do now when I wake up the first thing in the morning, I would just say a prayer and thank God for another day to live to see another day.
yes.
So I just put the phone at the side so I don't have to go do that again. You know what I'm saying?
And that's
Which
gratitude, right? That's gratitude,
yes,
thanking God for the day and to see another day.
yes. And the other thing is that what I try to do when I'm going to work, when I'm driving, I use that time to listen to some good, nice music to put the brain into a nice space, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So there are different things that we can do.
absolutely.
And it's a good space for me quietly to say my prayers to
Yeah.
while I'm driving into work, you know?
Yeah. I think music is a beautiful thing, Ken. Like you just said, my kids, going back to the kids, they're doing a project that they're using, they're, going out to schools to anchor music for them to help with
Yes,
mental health. You know,
yes,
practice
yes,
by, learning an instrument, doing something that you want to do, teaching music, listening to music, whatever it is that makes you happy, that, sets that imagination inside of you, that beautiful imagination in your life. Do more of that.
yes, yes. And when pressure builds up in work or in our personal life, how can people respond like more thoughtfully instead of just simply reacting?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, that's what they do now.
Yeah.
We just react, we don't listen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that pause, you have to remember to do that pause, right? Like when pressure, when when you have a pot and that the lid is tight and the steam, it's boiling and boiling and boiling, and when you open that lid, that's the air that's coming out, right?
Hmm.
And you want to be mindful of opening that lid. you
Right,
you want to be mindful, you want to take a pause, knowing that steam can get in your face. So I'm
right,
using that as a metaphor for you to remember that when all that pressure builds up in us, take a pause back, because the last thing you want to do is react to a situation and you're going to regret it,
True, true,
right?
definitely.
So yeah.
Um, how do family, friendship, and community help strengthen a person's sense of ability and balance? How do they keep each other balanced?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we can help each other do is non-judgment, right? Be non-judgmental, like really trying to understand, being compassionate, being empathetic, trying to understand what people are actually going through. What is your loved ones going through, right? If you're going through something, trust me, the other person is going through it.
Right, right,
If you could be a better listener, if you can help each other just to listen without even trying to talk back. A lot of us try to correct. We want to correct the person. We want to, you know, give our 2 cents. But sometimes all a person wants is for you to listen.
absolutely, yes. And I learned that, and you know what? I'm glad you say that because the truth of the matter is, and I always say this on my show, a lot of times some people just want someone to listen to them.
Yeah.
And you doesn't have to go there and take over the whole conversation. And I'm very mindful of that most of the time. Even when I'm doing the interviews, I try to be very mindful that my guests, they're the guests, let them talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Despite sometimes, so or I because I know something I want to say, but I learn now, just relax yourself, calm down, and listen.
And you did
Most
a good job
people,
at it, Ken. So
thank you, thank you. I know, I really, I'm conscious about that.
yeah.
That stop going on. If you go somewhere, not because you're knowledgeable about something, that means you're gonna go and just blab them out that you know and you show people. No, a lot of times now I go places, I just sit quietly and listen and observe. That's all.
Yeah.
And I've also learned too that sometimes with the kind of people that you're dealing with, if someone doesn't ask you for your opinion, you should just stay quiet. You know,
Yeah.
that's my motto most of the time.
Absolutely. Especially our loved ones, like within families, within our tight knit, right?
Yes.
Community. Community meaning it could be your family community. The fact
Yes.
is that, you know, practice that a lot, because and especially with the kids, with the children,
Yes.
they would not open up as soon as you give your 2 cents. They just want
Right.
to let out, right?
Yes.
So much has happened already. Just listen. You'll be amazed on the relationship you will grow with your kids by just
Yes.
listening to them.
Absolutely. And my final question on what we're talking about there, and then I got about a couple more, about three other questions. You know, what should you say, or would you say to someone who feels stuck, discouraged, or just unsure about the direction in their life? And we see this all the time.
Yeah.
How
No,
do we help someone who's stuck?
yeah, no, absolutely. I think the fact is that people think that purpose is some big drawn out thing out there, that
Hmm.
that they have to find their purpose, or else that they're good for they don't have anything to do in life. But every day that we are out there, every day that we're living, we are living a purpose, right?
Right.
And we are here. And when you're stuck, sometimes just take a step back and ask yourself, what is it you truly want? What do you want to do? What do why are you stuck? Just asking those right questions.
Yes. Yes.
Start opening
Absolutely.
up the mind instead of just saying I'm stuck. Spend that time, explore explore. I know we all explore on the outside. This is the time for
Yeah.
you to explore the inside of you. We
Mm-hmm.
all, can, it's amazing. Like, we all have this, if we can tap into ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we have this infinite, right? Potential,
Yes.
right? That we could do so much things in our lives. We just have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe
Mm-hmm.
in ourselves. It doesn't matter what it is, that we have to make sure that we are our biggest cheerleader.
Absolutely. That's a great thing. We have to be that person who love ourselves. Um, let's see this one. I'm gonna just ask you this one question that really stuck in me all day today. Um, that so many women that we see in life in domestic abuse relationship, they get stuck in there. Also, I see a lot of women, they would go leave that relationship and then they would end up going back to that relationship and get killed. And we have seen that in our community not too long ago. As a woman, and you're a mature woman who's intelligent, it's something that I'm trying to understand, which I got an idea. But what's going on with this? Why do women like feel that, listen, I gotta stay, and after we stay, then and after we left, then we go back and we get killed? What's your whole take of all of this?
Ken, I think we touched upon all of this a bit in many, many
Yeah.
different ways, how the mind works.
Right.
Even the woman
Right.
itself, it's just how the mind works. I think the fact is that, you know, we as women, we need to realize what a beautiful creation we are.
Of course.
We are such a beautiful creation. We create life itself, right? Uh,
Right.
Women are the ones who create life. And the fact is that a lot of women and a lot of us, including myself at some point in my life, I'm sure, the fact that, we don't believe in ourselves. We think that we need to give that control to a man or to another person, right?
Yes.
And we have a lot of fear. We have a lot of fear of taking the step. We have a lot of fear of, going out there and knowing that there's more to life. And again, whatever it is in that specific relationship that person is going back for, there's always a controller, right? But because
Yeah. Absolutely.
who is given the authority to the controller? It is
It's a person.
individual. We are given
Yeah.
the authority, and we're going back because we're not believing in our own ability. And the fact is, we're not working on ourselves. And going back to, the individual, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, there are men who've been in abusive relationships too, right? So I wouldn't only
Yes.
say women, but the fact is that we have to work on ourselves. We have
Yes.
to know our self-worth. Going back to what you said, we have to know our self-worth. We have to check in. We have to maybe, I think one of the things, we need to create new environments. We need to, maybe certain environments we're in pull us down. We need to go to environments that will lift us up. And when we start
Yes.
with those small things, then eventually we'll know that, wow, life is better. There is more out there. There is a better,
Yeah.
there's better than what I have. I don't have to, you know, prescribe to just this. This is not life. And I
Yeah.
don't believe that anybody should be stuck in any abusive relationship, right?
Right.
We, we really, 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 take care of our own selves.
There is hope. There is hope out there. So we want to encourage people. I'm going to leave this. Any final saying you want? We're lucky we stay 1.5 hours on the radio.
Yeah.
So that's a long time. Anyway,
And it
but
feels like
so
only, half hour we started.
right, yeah. But you're doing good, and I'm glad the viewers love you. So, any final closing thought you want to leave with our viewers?
Yes. I want to share that life is precious. Life is happening now. It's not happening later. These moments are not going to come back. That the most beautiful thing that you could do for yourself is live in a beautiful state of mind.
Yes, yes.
Practice awareness, practice becoming mind fit. It's not something that you will go and meditate 1 day or 2 days and that's it. It's a every single day, every single time you need to become intentional.
Yes.
I'm aware of what is going on inside of me. Why am I fearful? Why am I in an abusive relationship? Why? Ask yourself the question, why? And when you're
Yeah.
asking yourself the question, the mind is going to open up. Eventually, you're going to start finding your own answers that no, and learn how to let go. Not everything you have to take with you. Learn, let it go. Just let it go. You're much more bigger and better and a beautiful human being than to take anything that does not align with who we are meant to be in this world.
Correct, correct. Um, Usha, that's nice. Usha should get a great husband. Roger Singh, thank you very much. And tell Zabida I said hello if she's listening. Samantha Cho, very good evening to you. Thanks for tuning in too. And to all of you who tune in, Powell, thank you very much. Rhonda Spencer, Tom, good night, and thanks for tuning in. Um, if I didn't call anybody's name, I don't want anybody to feel left out. Anita Ish Dowlat Ram, thanks for tuning in. And to Suri Sigrim, thank you very much. And to you, Diane, I want to say, for a long time we didn't keep in touch, but we need to bring you back sometime. Every now and again we have to bring you back, and so we will talk about some things. How I know you live a busy life, to see how what we could bring for our community at large. And so thank you very much. And like as usual, I'm always proud of you and the work that you do.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
taking the time to be with me on the radio. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ken. And thank you to all of your wonderful viewers for being here with us. And thank you so much. And it's my pleasure. Have a
All
good
right. All right. Give the boys, your girl and your son a hug and tell them they're doing a great job. I got to interview them one day too. So let's arrange. Let me know when they're ready for an interview, okay?
I definitely will ask. And my son is going to probably be, he did get into MIT and Columbia University. So,
Oh, wow. Good for him. Well, you did a fantastic job. Just be proud of yourself. Well, I know you know that.
thank you.
Have a great night, everyone. Good
You too.
night.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.